Yai Shabbat Shalom to those who are returning to a treasured experience each month. Shabbat Shalom to those of you who are here for the first time, exploring a new experience. Shabbat Shalom to those who fall anywhere along the continuum. And Shabbat Shalom to those who are not here. The nigun that we started with it's a bit of a sadder sounding nigun. And this Shabbat is called Shabbat Chazon, the Shabbat of vision, maybe clarity. It's the invitation to really look, to really be present. And it falls at the tail end of our traditional 3 weeks of mourning. 3 weeks ago, on the 17th day of the month of Tammuz, the city of Jerusalem, which had been under siege by the Roman army, finally saw its city walls breached. And the destruction, the murder, the devastation, the slaughter that happened over the next 3 weeks was traumatic enough to sear itself into our collective memory until today. The 3 weeks concluded on the 9th of Av, which begins tonight. Today's the 8th of Av. If you were in Jerusalem today, in the year 70, I guarantee you it would be a bad day. It'd be hard to find the joy of Shabbat. And on the 9th of Av, tomorrow, it culminated with the capture and utter destruction of the temple, a symbol of our worldly connection to God. With that came the dispersion of our people and the need to create new ways of connecting. The kavanot this morning are intended for us, as I was saying at services last night, to be present with the condition of things. As I said last night, I've not really personally related to the traditions of the 9th of Av through most of my life until the last several years, when things have turned upside down and what I thought was real has led me to question certain relationships that failed to stand the test of external challenges, political divisiveness, religious ideology, Zionism. If the friendships crumbled and faded so fast in the face of those differences, what does that mean about the friendship or the relationship? My guess is that's familiar to probably all of us on a personal level, and then of course on a collective level, domestically and globally. So this morning we're going to be spending a little time in that space. I'm going to share a few quotes as we move through the service without attribution, but none of them are mine. And if you would like to know who they were after the service, I'd be happy to show you. The first quote is this: "Nothing is more sad than the death of an illusion." What are the illusions whose death you've had to mourn? What are the changes that you didn't see coming and didn't want to embrace? On Tisha B'Av, we mourn in similar ways to the ways we mourn in a house of mourning during Shiva. We cover mirrors in a house of Shiva so that we are not focused on the wrong things, on the superficial, petty things. Today, too, we strive to focus on meaningful loss without looking away, without fear of being overwhelmed. In the 23rd Psalm, when we say we're in a valley of darkness, shadow of death, one of my professors once pointed out that the nature of a valley is that it goes down, 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 down until you hit the bottom, but then on the other side it goes up again. And so if we stand at the bottom of a valley, even if it's dark, if we want to see the light, we might lift our eyes. The 121st Psalm is lifting my eyes to the mountains. Where's my help come? It comes from God. I apologize, the words are not on the prayer sheet, but we'll do it in an nigun, and then I'll offer the words. If you know them, join me. Ya Elai, 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 Ya Elai, 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 Ya Elai, 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 I can think of a few of you specifically who have told me so, and I know many more of you who relate to this experience, that is, being overwhelmed by the news cycle, by turning on the radio or wherever you get your news with trepidation, by checking your online sources with bated breath, because the headlines are almost never good, almost never. And that becomes exhausting. It becomes an assault on our spirit to the point where we need a break. Here's another quote. To have felt too much is to end in feeling nothing. I know the feeling of numbness, of being confronted with so much to be upset about, so much sadness, which, yes, is often accompanied with anger, so much feeling. Sometimes I need to turn to numbness to allow myself a break. The wisdom of 12-step programs understands that at times you can't look up to the top of a mountain and get excited about the journey. At times you have to just look to the next step and get through the next breath, get through the day. Tomorrow, there is something else. The blessing of breathing is so helpful for meditative practice because of its grounding nature, its ability to connect us with the most basic life-sustaining action that we take all day, almost always, completely mindlessly. Somewhere on your prayer sheet, you'll find a prayer that says, breathe, just breathe. If you care to follow along, otherwise, just breathe. Get through the next breath. Breathe, just breathe. Breathe, just breathe. Breathe, just breathe. Breathe, just breathe. Take a deep breath. Breathe, just breathe. Breathe, just breathe. Breathe, just breathe. And let your tenderness be held. Breathe, just breathe. And let your tenderness be held. Breathe, just breathe. And let your tenderness be held. Breathe, just breathe. Breathe, just breathe. Breathe, just breathe. And if you breathe, just breathe, you might get more life, l'chaim. More life, more life, more life. More life, more life, l'chaim, 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 more life. just breathe, and let your tenderness be held. Breathe, just breathe, and let your tenderness be held. Breathe, just breathe, and let your tenderness be held. Breathe, just breathe, and let your tenderness be held. More life, l'chaim. More life, more life, more life. More life, l'chaim, 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 more life. More life, l'chaim. More life, more life, more life. More life, l'chaim, 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 more life. Breathe, just breathe. 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 Some of you know the story of King Solomon, the wisest, who offered his advisors a challenge, a riddle. He wanted them to find him a magic ring that would make the wearer feel things. It would make a happy man sad, and it would make a sad man happy. And cutting through the elongation of the story, the advisor who succeeds returns with a ring that's engraved with the words Gam ze ya'avor. This too shall pass. When you're sad, this too shall pass. That might make you happy. And if you're feeling happy, Gam ze ya'avor, that might make you sad. I've always wondered, I get it, why a sad man would want to make himself happy. Why would a happy man want to make himself sad? You know that all rabbis do is just make up answers to things. So play the rabbi. Craft an answer to that question. Why would the happy person want to make themselves sad? And now, in keeping with rabbinic tradition, try and come up with a completely different answer to why would a happy person want to make themselves sad? And just for fun, take one more moment and see if you can come up with a completely different third answer. Why would a happy person want to make themselves sad? Another quote. When you're happy, you enjoy the music. When you're sad, you understand the lyrics. We invite God to shower us with comfort, to be there with us when we're sad, to listen to the words and to try to understand. Nachamu is on your prayer sheet. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Omar Elohechem. 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 Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle to take care of one another. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle with this world. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Omar Elohechem. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Omar Elohechem. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle to take care of one another. Comfort us in our wilderness. Comfort us as we struggle with this world. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami Omar Elohechem. 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 What would it feel like if you showed up to a house of mourning and you weren't in the mood to be sad or upset? If you wanted to be joyful and you knew it wasn't appropriate, but you couldn't comfort each other, you didn't have it available, should you sit and nervously talk about something that is comfortable? Should you sit in uncomfortable silence? Or should you just make eye contact for an additional moment, longer than normal, and then excuse yourself and leave the space? Last night, the Israelis who were here with us and I were talking after the service. They really enjoyed, really were thoughtfully reflecting on much of what happened. I wished we'd had hours to discuss it, but the song, the prayer that most grabbed their attention was the closing song, which was Gesher Tsar Me'od. The words in English mean, the whole world is a very narrow bridge, and the point is not to be afraid at all. That's how Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav in the late 1700s wrote it. And that's the version that I grew up with in Nifty, singing in great fervor, stomping on the ground until we thought, the hundreds of teens, that we might collapse the room with all of our weight and our energy. The message of all of us shouting, "Don't be afraid at all," was energizing, it was empowering, but it was also dangerous. Because when we're feeling something and we're told that's not the right thing to be feeling, we pathologize it. And B'Shem Omra, in the name of the one who said it, Betsy, this morning before the service in our conversation about this theme, reminded us that sadness is not pathological, it's normal. And so, if fear, too, is a normal expression, then denying the opportunity will be isolating. What if there's one teenager in that room full of all of us screaming, "Don't be afraid at all," who's thinking to themselves, "Yeah, but I am. I'm afraid." Maybe they got a diagnosis that none of us know about. Maybe they have a parent who they don't want to go home to and they're afraid. Maybe they're afraid of spiders and it's affecting their ability to function, and the rest of us are saying, "Don't be afraid at all." What the Israelis last night liked so much about the setting that we sang was that Alana Arian added on that beautiful, brilliant, and essential final line in English. She said, the most important thing is on the other side of fear. She allows the fear. Let's use the same idea this morning as we sing, but let's change that word fear to sadness. The most important thing is on the other side of sadness. It's not to end your sadness, it's not to deny your sadness, but there is another side to sadness. There's no hurry to get there, but when you do, the sadness will have added to your life. It will offer you something you didn't have before experiencing that. Kol ha'olam kulo is also there on your song sheet somewhere. Anybody see the number? 17. Kol ha'olam kulo, kol ha'olam kulo, Geshet Tsar Me'od. Kol ha'olam kulo, Kol ha'olam kulo, Geshet Tsar Me'od. V'ha'ikar lo לפחד כלל. V'ha'ikar lo לפחד כלל. כל העולם כולו, כל העולם כולו, גשת צר מאוד. כל העולם כולו, כל העולם כולו, גשת צר מאוד. והעיקר לא לפחד כלל. והעיקר לא לפחד כלל. The most important thing, the most important thing, the most important thing is on the other side. The most important thing is on the other side of fear. Kol ha'olam kulo, Kol ha'olam kulo, Geshet Tsar Me'od. Kol ha'olam kulo, Kol ha'olam kulo, Geshet Tsar Me'od. Had a wonderful conversation this past week with somebody who is going through a very, very common journey, and it happens for many people, not everybody, at different points in their theological maturation. She's reached a point in her life, she's got adult children, that at this point, the theology that she had held for so long is no longer functioning for her. She's experienced some really, really hard things in the last year. And she can no longer figure out how to relate to the God that they delivered to her in her childhood. The God who listens to her prayers, the God who orchestrates the world. And I get that. Boy, do I get that. And as I explored that journey with her, she asked me a little bit about my belief, particularly when I validated and said to her, I get that. well, okay then, what do you believe? And I reminded her it doesn't really matter what I believe. And then I shared with her what I believe. And she said, okay, but then how do you manage the prayers, Baruch Atah Adonai? And I remind her that I told you I see God everywhere, in everything. I see God as everyone. And so as we approach the Shema, the kavanah I'll offer you this morning, whether or not this is your theology, is to try something. This period of mourning is meant to be collective. It's meant to assume that everybody around you is feeling sad about loss, with grief, and a bunch of other things, but that's a common experience. And if you can achieve the following, then Shema makes new sense. If you can feel the divinity in you, Tselem Elohim, the image of God that is you, and the image of God that is that other, the person on either side of you, and every person across the way, Tselem Elohim all around you, in different shapes and sizes, with different experiences, but Tselem Elohim just like yours. And the sadness that you feel is Elohim, God, experiencing that sadness. God as sadness right now. The sadness you feel is God. The sadness he, she, they feel is God. If you can access that for just a moment, then saying, listen, Shema, all you God wrestlers, Adonai is one. God is the oneness of sadness at this moment. That's the shared commonality that we're focusing on amongst so many others. After we offer the Shema, we're going to sit in 7 minutes of silence. During that time, I invite you to breathe, just breathe, to let your tenderness be held, and to see if you can find God as sadness. I'll remind you of that in a moment, but for now, breathe, just breathe. Breathe. Just breathe. With the next inhalation, join me as we acknowledge the oneness that we all feel, sadness about the way things are not. Breathe. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Quietly. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam. Amen. And now, breathe yourself into the space that might allow for you to find God, not in your sadness, but God as your sadness. Breathe. Just breathe. breathe, just breathe, breathe, just breathe, breathe, just breathe, breathe, just breathe. Six days after the 9th of Av is the 15th Tu B'Av, the closest thing we have in the Jewish calendar to Valentine's Day. It is a day where the Kabbalists created a ritual for young, unwed people to locate each other, to cultivate love, which is an expression of hope, of commitment to the future. There are an awful lot of Jewish dogs and cats out there named Tikva. We have Jewish summer camps named Tikva. We named our national anthem HaTikva, hope. Hope. Od lo avda tikvatenu. We have not yet lost our ability to hope. Another final quote this morning. Depression is the inability to construct a future. Tisha B'Av is not about sitting in collective depression. It's about sitting in sadness, in mourning. And sadness's partner is hope. We'll conclude with the song Salam, Od Yavo, saying, this isn't the end of the story. This isn't how it's always going to be. There's more to come, and we hope. We hope, hope, hope. Number 21, thank you. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu, od yavo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. May you not see your sadness as a quest to be conquered. May you accept your sadness as a part of love, as a part of hope, as a part of joy. May you find a place to access your sadness in a way that doesn't need to be constructive. It just needs to be authentic. May you have a Shabbat Shalom, and if you care to join us this evening at 8:30, we'll be in this room. And if you choose to observe a fast of any kind, food or otherwise, may it be a meaningful fast. Shabbat Shalom.